So I told that general, the next general who came, I said, sir, you can't get my boys treated like punching bags. You want a weak unit here, you can get any unit that you like. You got my unit, let me fight. Let me fight, let me give it back. So he gave me the authority and the blessings. We planned, we prepared, we hit 29 Baluch so hard. They had their battalion headquarters, the CO's hut was burnt, the officers' mess of 29 Baluch was burnt, the entire area where they used to have this was shelled by a regiment of artillery which is 18 guns, a light battery which is 6 120mm mortars, 6 platoons of mortars, that is about, each platoon has 6 mortars, 81mm mortars. They were rained down on that. So I had climbed one of our top posts and all that, we were taking a look that side, and then I asked that chap, he said, sir, wo safed jhanda khada kar raha hai. He's raising a white flag, I have had enough, please stop. So I asked him, tumko dikh raha hai? See, I'm just giving you what happens in the army. You may not know much about it. I turned to my boy who had just, put his, sir, safed jhanda khada kar raha hai. I said, tumko dikh raha hai? So he looked uncertainly at me, not knowing what answer I was expecting. I said, tumko dikh raha hai? He said, haan sir. Tumko dikh raha hai? No sir. Good. Put your bloody bino down, blast the daylights out of these. I use pretty colorful language on what the other side was. Blast the daylights out of them. Kick him so hard that he should cry uncle. He cried uncle now to his headquarters. 2 days later, the Director General Military Operations, where I had been serving before that rank, he landed up there. What the hell is going on here? He said, GD, what are you doing here? I said, sir, I am the commanding officer. He said, oh, now I know what's wrong. So I said, sir, all this while when we were getting bashed, you never came here. Today we kicked the butt out of this 29 Baluch. And everybody is flying down here to stop me. Why? He said, okay, don't lose your cool, But this is the language some people understand. And to give that language back, if you start obeying too many orders, I'm afraid it's not very far that you will go. I want somebody else to take the risk. I want somebody else to hold the can. So that won't work. Ladies and gentlemen, after that I went to Kishtwar, which incidentally has 60% Muslims, 40% Hindu. And when I went there had been some human rights violation case, court-martials were going on, inquiries were going on. When I reached the officer mess and I sat down, I saw the, khiche hue chehre, sunken cheeks, hollowed eyes, dark rings under the eyes. So I asked that boy, tum chutti kab gaya pisle? When did you go on chutti? In the combat areas, we have an unwritten rule. Every 90 days, get out. Send this boy back to his family. Whether he wants to or he doesn't want to. Give him that break. Every 90 days, every 90 days, we want this boy out, either on casual leave or on annual leave. But I would like him to go. This is an unwritten rule, because otherwise people who are used again and again and again crack down, and the best of the men will break up. You have to recharge your juices, right? So I asked this boy, when did you go on leave last? He said, sir, 13 months ago. So I was shocked. I asked the other chap, when did you go on leave last? He said, sir, 11 months ago. So I turned to the CO with absolute rage on my face. So why? So this man said, sir, excuse me, sir, can I just take you aside? He said, sir, all these men are under court-martial. They were involved in that case where the locals had surrounded our patrol, who had captured some of these terrorists, and it was Eid day, they were trying to get their terrorists freed and to snatch their weapons. This boy opened fire, he killed about 8 civilians. And since then, there has been all hell to pay. Human rights violation. So I asked that boy, I said, what happened, son? He said, sir, I just want to ask you one question. What was I expected to do? give up my weapons, give up the prisoners. I had been told to capture those people. I captured them, I brought them, and then I was surrounded by a mob. And the mob attacked us. So what could I have done? Should I have tamely handed over this thing? We would have been killed. So I took the decision on the spot, sir. I am guilty, but whatever it is, I have taken action. I had to get those people moving. I got that case settled. We got ballistics experts to find out that, there were terrorists mixed up with them. Yeah, thank you. There were terrorists mixed up with them. The point I am trying to make, ladies and gentlemen, is we got that place moving. We killed all. I said, don't waste your time shooting these foot soldiers. We don't want the piadas. We want the top leaders. We selected top leaders. We went for them. We eliminated them. One fine day, I got a message. One of my sources said, sir, you better watch it. There is a message for you. He said, what? He said, Bakshi Sahab aapko dekh legi. So I thought I would be ambushed or my headquarters would be attacked. So I called my second in command, told him, just tell the boys to be a little more alert and alive. That's not what happened. They went to the remotest village, they pulled out the minority people and they shot 5 of them. They left one alive to climb up to that bloody village, which was another 4 hours away, get to a bus, come back, and by the time we got the information, 12, 18 hours. They had all fled. Another week later, they hit the next village. There's a Tagud, then Pati Mahal, they killed 8. And then the third day, another third week, they went and killed at Gulabgarh. And they wiped out 30 little girls, little boys who take the sheep up on top. Slaughtered them in cold blood. Alright? And there was an exodus of the minority community from that area to Himachal Pradesh. Ladies and gentlemen, all that I did was, I took 2 companies, I camped at the place where they had killed 13 women and children, and we just told them, we want the names of the guys who have done it. So after they had a lot of harassment at the hands of the army, very simple, they told us the names. I said, I want you to tell them that Brigadier Bakshi, I was then a brigadier, was here और उसने आपके लिए पैगाम भेजा है, अबू मूसा, अबू गुलाम, अबू उमेर, तुम्हें जहां भागना है तुम भाग लो, फौज तुम्हारे पीछे आएगी, चाहे हमें 1 हफ्ता लगे, चाहे 1 महीना, चाहे 1 साल. आपने कुरान शरीफ की हुक्म मंजूरी करी है. The Quran Sharif says, in a jihad, spare the lives of the women, the children and the old men. It is written, it's an ayat in the Quran. He said, you have violated the Quran, we'll come for you, and when jab hum tumhe marenge, kutte ki maut marenge, jala ke marenge. This is the threat that I gave them. Within a week, we got the information where these people were. That Gujar of mine who used to give me all the information, he says, "Saab, haath mein khujli ho raha hai. Haath mein khujli ho raha hai, I want money. I have got good information." I said, "Tu khujli ujli band kar, wo kidhar hai?" He says, "Saab, तूने बहुत अच्छा किया जो धमकी दी. अपनी छाया से डर रहे. किसी गांव में 1 घंटा से ज्यादा नहीं ठहरते. कोई इनकी तरफ देखता है तो उसकी मार पिटाई शुरू करता है. ठीक है? And this is what, now I said, where are they now? They are in this. We surrounded them. We tried to attack. There was an opening in the forest. 3 of my boys got shot, 1 through the head, through the other arms, and we couldn't get close. So we just used a thermobaric Russian weapon, which burns. Where it explodes, 1000 degrees centigrade fireball. Your cooking is done at 130, 140. Right? And they were in a pine log. The whole thing burned. All that we did was, when it had burned down to ash, we found where the spine was. That was all that was left. Chura, the leg bones, which are very thick, they were reduced to chura. And there are 3 AK-47s. All the woodwork was burned and the barrels were burnt into a U. We took photographs. We went back to the same village, Gulabgarh, assembled all the males. I said, look, this is what these people did. This is what we have done. if you do, anybody does it again, this is what we will do again. Ladies and gentlemen, every single minority family that had fled Kishtwar came right back. The Pakistani army. You see, no army can withstand the strength of an idea whose time has come. The Pakistani army was led then by one of their so-called finest generals, Lieutenant General Amir Akbar Abdullah Khan Niazi, Hilal-e-Jurrat, Sitara-e-Pakistan. That's quite a mouthful. Okay. So this man, he was under the impression, look, अरे ये हमारा एक पाकिस्तानी 10 हिंदुस्तानी के बराबर, ये क्या करेंगे, ये बढ़िए क्या करेंगे, you know, that is the term, pejorative term that they use. And he said they will maximum try and grab a few kilometers of land, enclaves here, there, to try and push back the refugees. But they had not catered for another master general called General J.F.R. Jacob. You may have heard of this Jewish general. Short, one of the most brilliant minds in South Asia. He was an expert on the Kushan period of history, and in his spare time, he was a bachelor. You could have seen this general in the Kolkata Museum, you know, talking on the Kushan engravings and this and that. Brilliant man, brilliant man. He had planned to go for Dhaka. The Military Operations Directorate in Delhi, where Sam was the boss, another very fiery chap who could tell the Prime Minister off. They had planned that the most critical portion of Bangladesh are the two ports of Khulna and Chittagong, because all supplies come from the west, so these are the criticalities. You know, when you